Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Carlene.
And I'm Jay. We are also known as Jaylene.
On this channel, we recap and provide our reviews for Married at First Sight.
Tonight we'll be reviewing episode 5. It's all about the journey.
Please subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. So the first couple that we'll talk about is Nicole and Chris. While the couple was having breakfast, I got distracted by the meal. I'm like, where's the ackee? Where's the breadfruit? I want some of those jelly coconuts. The couple talked about the conversation regarding their past relationships. They want to work on getting to know each other now, so on decision day, they will know who they are married to. This is the time to get to know each other. It is an accelerated process, and even though they won't fully know who they married by decision day, they will have a general idea. So on the honeymoon, how the couples kind of venture off and do different activities. Well, Nicole and Chris went for rum tasting and a little dancing. They started off with the white proof rum, and their bartender basically told them to drink it like it was water. That woke Nicole up. They were just jugging that rum like it was water, one after another after another.
That reminds me of rum cake, so that's not something that you should be drinking like it's water.
Chris decided that he was kind of drunk after the third or the fourth shot. Nicole couldn't even keep her eyes open. She was concerned with her husband seeing her drink that much in that short amount of time. In the middle of their sipping, they had a dance lesson from their bartender. I thought I was watching a music video. Chris seemed to like it. Nicole reflected on her alcohol intake back in the day when she referred to herself as Old Nicole. Old Nicole was selfish and didn't care. I started having flashbacks of Lindy and Miguel because Nicole's fuse is shorter than Chris's. Chris basically told her that he's not going to stand for Nicole taking her frustration out on him. Unlike Miguel, Chris told Nicole this up front before even meeting Old Nicole. I like how Chris is setting boundaries. Now let's see how Nicole will adhere to these boundaries.
I like that too. Hopefully when she gets upset, she won't take it out on him and just keep that part in mind.
Chris looked like, what did I get myself into? When Nicole was explaining her past behaviors, and Nicole was like, oh no, I can't be my true self, when Chris mentioned how he doesn't want her emotions to get the best of her. I think they were both triggering each other in this moment. For Chris, this is something he experienced in his past relationships and doesn't want to deal with it now. For Nicole, this is her fear of being her true self on the honeymoon and her partner not liking her. Chris continues to compliment Nicole at dinner. They talked about being each other's dream spouse. Although Nicole was playing about Chris loving her yet, he said he could see it. Chris asked Nicole when she was wanting to have kids. Nicole said that she didn't want to have kids previously and explored why. She said she is open to them but not dying to have them. On the other hand, Chris wants 2 kids. They will revisit this conversation in a couple of years. Nicole thought that having children or not would just be up to her, but Chris wasn't having that. He made sure Nicole knew that it would be a mutual decision.
That's where I get confused when it comes to this process. Are they being 100% truthful on these forms? Because if she didn't want any kids but was open to it, I wouldn't have matched her with someone who actually wants kids. So it's more to the story, because they don't always tell us what they say on these essays and these forms. But if she knows for a fact she don't want kids, or is maybe I'll see what happens if I want kids, that's not fair to the person who actually is in this process and who actually wants kids.
Yeah, Nicole think that they were on the same page, but from this conversation, I don't even think they were reading the same book. Chris wants kids, Nicole doesn't. And like you're saying, it's not fair, for one party going in wanting kids and the other side, they don't want kids. There's only so much compromise someone can do.
I completely forgot that she said that we're on the same page, because I was confused myself. I had this dumb look on my face. I'm like, When did he say he didn't want kids? I was very confused. But apparently, the women on this show, they're very confusing.
Jasmine Airris. Airris continued to critique how much bacon Jasmine eats. He says it isn't a big deal, but literally went through all the days they've been together. What is this, like 2 or 3? And was like, you eat bacon every day. These are unusual circumstances. Don't most people eat differently on vacation than in their everyday lives? He is already judging her about eating bacon all the time and how she needs to reduce it.
That's what I don't understand. I know he's getting on her nerves because he's getting on my nerves, talking about bacon every day. If that's what she wants to eat, that's fine. Unless you requested someone who don't eat meat to pair you with, I wouldn't bring it up or say anything.
They talked about their past relationships, and Airris admitted that he was the main one why it didn't work out. They both walked away from their previous relationships. Jasmine admitted to being a workaholic. Airris wants to support Jasmine by walking all her dogs and visiting her when she goes to the hospital with her mom. Jasmine shuts down due to the process with her mom and doesn't want to shut her husband out. Airris is glad knowing this information up front and wants to help. Jasmine is happy with his willingness to want to help and hopes he follows through. I hope he follows through too. You can say all these good things, but Jasmine needs to see action. So the couple ventured off and went snorkeling with Gregory. Jasmine got googly-eyed because she liked seeing her husband without his shirt on. Jasmine didn't want Airris to cut his beard because the face mask couldn't fit correctly, causing salt water to get in his mouth. Airris was happy that his wife was taking care of him. When Airris demanded that Jasmine feeds him again, I remember when his mom still did his laundry during the matchmaking special. Why is he so demanding?
I'm trying to figure out, why is he always asking someone to feed him? Is this what his mom does for him? I'm an only child. I'm not even demanding like that.
Jasmine looked at Airris crazy when he gonna ask her about her favorite sexual position. Then he asked about her favorite color. He continued to ask her why she was uncomfortable talking about sex. I don't think she would have minded if the cameras weren't around.
I just thought that was funny, but it seems like he reminds me of someone who always brings sex into the conversation or has a metaphor for sex.
As they were playing with a frisbee, Airris realized that Jasmine is left-handed. I was like, I noticed that before while she was eating. Well, I'm observant. Airris asked Jasmine when was the last time she was in love. She said in her last relationship. Airris said how he loves the game, but he's never been in love. The look on Jasmine's face. I could hear Airris's cousin just laughing, saying, I tried to warn you. Jasmine looked like he said he wasn't attracted to her. This was concerning for Jasmine because she believes it might not happen in this marriage. Airris shared how he never been head over heels or googly-eyed, and Jasmine feels pressured as she thinks that you have to be in love at the end of the 8 weeks to say yes.
We have to keep in mind that he was a player. What player do you know of is in love or falls in love? That's not how the game's played. But I understand her concern. It's just that when it comes to love, men are very different when it comes to women. So if she wants this to work and if he wants this to work, they actually have to put in the work. You're not going to fall in love overnight, and no one falls in love in 2 months.
Domynique and Mackinley. While the couple was having breakfast, they talked about how they slept the night before. They had cuddles, and Mackinley was satisfied with them. Domynique really didn't care what they had planned for the day as long as they were together. Mackinley liked that answer too. Mackinley went back and forth about how far they were going on the sailboat. They thought Mackinley was going to be selling the boat, but Stedman stepped in and saved the day. The couple reflected on the beautiful blue water, and yes, that water was beautiful. They could see to the bottom, and Domynique was like, there are no sharks. Stedman said they were nurse sharks, and Mackinley had something to say about that. So I had to do some research on that. And nurse sharks are slow-moving bottom dwellers that are, for the most part, harmless to humans. But I don't think the average person would know that, so I can understand Mackinley's concern with it, but the other things that he was complaining about was unnecessary. In her confessional, Domynique says that Mackinley is more vocal about things he doesn't like and more closed-minded than she would like. Domynique is practicing blocking out his comments because she knows he will continue to do them. So the more Mackinley talks, the less Domynique is liking him.
Sounds like a real wife.
Okay. Domynique almost broke her ankle in those heels walking to dinner. Mackinley asked what she thought of the day. Domynique was happy when Mackinley went along with the sailboat, even though he was complaining. Mackinley wants Domynique to push him to do things. Don't you think Domynique is going to get sick and tired of not only pushing him, but also listening to him complaining? Mackinley admitted to goofing off, and Domynique wanted to say yes, but she smiles. He wanted to know if he was her dream guy, but Domynique tried to be nice by not saying no. By the end of the night, I can see why Domynique was annoyed with Mackinley. His jokes were just too much, and he actually thinks he's funny. Domynique thinks that he's kind of funny, but doesn't want him to know. They enjoyed each other's company in the pool with drinks and treats, and as the lovely cricket sounds serenaded them in the background.
I don't blame her because he was getting on my nerves. I felt either he was drunk the whole episode, or he kept he kept talking about her boobs the whole episode. I'm like, okay, no one cares. We know she has a big bust. Next, please. So I just feel either he was drunk, or there's something wrong with him, or he's trying to impress her to a certain extent. And to me and everybody else, I don't think she was impressed.
Kirsten and Shaquille. They finally made it to Jamaica. It looked like when the van pulled up, they jumped out, got their drinks, and went straight to their room. Shaquille is happy to be done with school so he can enjoy the honeymoon. So was Kirsten. She talked about being there for him and supporting him. The couple decided to drive ATVs. Well, it was Kirsten's decision. I thought back to the previous season when Nate was all into himself but didn't care about Stasha. Then in season 8 with Will and Jasmine, when it looked like Will didn't care if Jasmine fell off her ATV or the hill at that. Well, it was Kirsten that didn't care about Shaquille. He talked about the trauma from the car accident and how he is cautious and not looking forward to riding the ATV. Kirsten didn't care. She looked like a mad woman going faster and faster. Even the music portrayed that. Shaquille had calm elevator music, and Kirsten's music was go, go, go. Although Kirsten wanted Shaquille to keep up with her, and he couldn't, she was liking his efforts. Kirsten got excited to start seeing him differently when he drove through muddy water.
I was kind of surprised that she didn't have a little more empathy for him when it comes to this type of activity. I know that they both said he needs to make it up to her, so maybe this was his way of doing that, doing something he don't want to do. So I give him props for getting into it towards the end of the activity.
Kirsten started complaining about how tired she was when they were in the hammock. Shaquille wanted to go to the gym, but Kirsten was too exhausted. He let her know that he's attracted to her, and Kirsten tell him that he is growing on her.
I'm kind of confused because I don't know if she's fake or not. It seems like beginning of the season, she's like, oh, he's ugly, this, that, and the other. But she just allows him to grab and hug all up on her. So I'm getting mixed messages as far as a viewer. So I don't know what her and Shaquille talk about when the cameras are off. But it's kind of confusing to me just seeing what type of person she is. Is she the lovey-dovey type where it's like, okay, I don't care if you touch me, but I don't find you attractive, or something else going on with her?
She talked about how she wasn't attracted to his bald head at first, but when she started spending time with him, she started to find him attractive. Kirsten shared how she doesn't like to kiss and that it's not him, it's her. Shaquille said he's patient. Apparently, he kisses her on the forehead. They like touching each other. Kirsten says it makes her feel secure.
I don't understand the part where she said, I don't like to kiss. I'm not a good kisser. That don't make any sense to me. I don't think it's like it's her. I think it's him. But the kiss on the forehead thing does remind me of The Best Man, where Taye Diggs' character did it to all the ladies, and apparently they loved it.
Yeah, maybe she's just not comfortable kissing. Some people are not comfortable, like that's not their thing.
I don't know any of those people.
The same crickets that serenaded Domynique and Mackinley did the same for Kirsten and Shaquille as they had their meal outside. Shaquille told Kirsten that she looked beautiful, and Kirsten was like, I wanted to tell you the same thing. She wanted to tell him that he looked handsome.
I was surprised she was going to give him a compliment at all.
Shaquille believes he talks a lot about himself, and Kirsten agreed. Kirsten admits to being closed off and wants Shaquille to be connected with her emotionally. Kirsten didn't like when he told her about being intentionally with herself. She doesn't want him to be, or to present the idea as it feels like he's talking at her. Kirsten doesn't want Shaquille to be perfect, but to talk to her naturally. The last couple, Gina and Clint. This couple is out there in Jamaica getting lost, trying to find a waterfall. Their van had to make a detour because of water in the road. They got off one van to ask for directions and then got on another one. We saw the handles for them to hold on to. The road with their famous potholes, it took me back. Those roads in Jamaica are not the best. It's like if they miss a pothole, they'll back up just to hit it. Not really, but you never know when you'll get a jerk here or there, so those handles are helpful. A ride that was supposed to take them 45 minutes ended up taking them 3 hours. Gina says it felt like it took her whole life to get to this destination. When they arrived, Gina and Clint got on the water and reflected on the ride. Clint was surprised on how Gina handled the turmoil. Gina tells him how she doesn't stress over things that she can't control. Then Clint mentioned her job and how he wants to see her as a boss lady. Gina wants Clint to help her focus on things other than work and believes adventure could be that thing. In his confessional, Clint understands how wrapped up Gina is in her work, but she is adaptable in other areas, and this makes him happy. Gina says how she has admiration for Clint, but doesn't think that the physical is there yet. And she likes talking about what they desire in a partner before the physical.
Again, this is where I get confused because she's telling his people that he's hot, but then now she's saying that we are having physical attraction issues. It's not we, it's you. I think he thinks she's cute, but it's like shots fired. Like, I don't think you're attractive. The color of your hair and all this other stuff that she's got going on. So that's going to be the beginning of the end for this couple. So I see why he took shots back later on.
Their butler was an honest comedian. He basically shared how he wants to get them drunk. As you're saying, Clint was trying to check in on Gina, want to know where she's at. And this was her time. She was like, I'm going to tell it all. So she did compare him to her previous relationship and how she wasn't even attracted to the other guy either. In his confessional, it hurt Clint that Gina was so vocal that she's not attracted to him this early on in the process. And when Gina just kept going on and on about the gingery features and things like that, Clint looked like, I get it. You're not attracted to me. Do you have to keep rubbing it in?
But apparently on the after party, I was hoping she was going to be on there to explain herself. So she was stating that they were having a back and forth honest conversation, being very blunt with each other. if that's the case, why go on and on and on about it? Okay, granted, you're not attracted to him. You don't gotta keep saying it. And it's like a man's ego is very, it can only take so much. So the looks on his face, I was like, man, I almost felt bad for Clint. Almost.
Well, that's all we have for episode 5. What are your thoughts on episode 5? We'd love to hear from you. Put your thoughts in the comments. Please continue to like and comment. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos.
Later, everyone.
Bye.